Water will take the shape of anything that is poured into. You pour it into a cup, it's the shape of a cup. If you pour it into a bottle, it's the shape of the bottle. Then they spoke sweet nothings, loving and caring, compassionate words to the other glass, and then they froze it. And what happened was amazing. Tree tells us the connection of how the water element and the earth element need each other, are one way to protect yourself. But if you're like, I don't know how to shield, I'm not really good at visualizing and imagining, the next best thing, and actually is probably more effective and faster, is walking around barefoot in nature. Water will take the shape of anything that is poured into. You pour it into a cup, it's the shape of a cup. If you pour it into a bottle, it's the shape of the bottle. How is the water that is inside your body? Does it form into who you are, or is it shaped like something else? Today we investigate the water element. I'm your host, Karabo Fisummu. Let's ascend together. The human body is comprised about 80% water. And in those numbers, you really got to think about, wow, that's a lot. A lot of times we don't even realize how much of a certain element is in us. If you look in the astrological chart, you can see different elemental bases. But just in the physical body alone, 80% water, that tells you a lot. The water element is the element that is connected with our emotions, our intuitions. It's also connected to our memory. That could also be tied in with our earth element too. But the beauty is that there's a relationship between the water element and the earth element that we're going to discuss even more too. The water element stands as the feminine side of the elemental chart. The fire element would be its opposite. And then also on that feminine side would be the earth element, and on the masculine side would be the air element. The water element is receptive. Water, when you look at it, typically is clear, or it is also illustrated in blue, like the blue ocean. Now, the ocean isn't necessarily blue. What it is reflective. Just like the moon, the water has a relationship because the moon is basically one of the water planets in the Zodiac. Water element deals with emotions, it deals with intuition and insight, so it deals with more of the invisible forces. Water is clear, but when it reflects the sunlight, it looks like the water is blue. Water being receptive is receptive to sound, it's receptive to light. There have been experiments that have illustrated this very concept very well. One of my favorite is one that was done by Japanese researchers where they took a glass of water. They spoke horrible and nasty, mean things to one glass of water and froze it. Then they spoke sweet nothings, loving and caring, compassionate words to the other glass, and then they froze it. And what happened was amazing. The glass that they spoke all the horrible and nasty, mean, hateful words to formed into distorted and mutated looking crystals, snowflakes and such, while the glass that was with the loving and caring formed into beautiful, just magnificent designs, like even better than ones that you would see in nature. What that experiment taught me was that your words, your thoughts, and things that you bring into you shape your reality. They shape how you see the world. They shape how you feel. The water element as the receptive element is seen in your chart, can tell if a person will be, well, more intuitive, more in tune with their emotions, or are they maybe have the psychic potential. If you look at your chart and you see that you have an influx, we'll say 4 placements in water, well, that shows that you have a stronger sense in water. Now, if you have maybe 1 or no planetary energies in a water sign, then that could show that you are more going to be learning about how to connect with your emotions. It's not going to be something you naturally do. It's going to be something that you more have to learn. With elemental balancing in the astrological chart, you'll learn that anything that you're deficient on is just something that you were born deficient. So in life, you are tasked with learning how to develop that element, strengthen it, and balance it with all the other elements. Positive self-talk is very important for your own inner water element. The more you talk negatively to yourself, the more you're going to think of it like you have a bucket or we'll say like a pond or whatever in your backyard. Okay, water's clear. Okay, every time you say something negative and nasty about yourself, dirt goes into there. Constantly more dirt and dirt. Every time something negative is constantly, and then it's just gunky. It's dirty. It's mucky. You don't want to drink out of that. No. Now, just think of it like this. Now you have to take a hose, and now this hose is going to constantly pour positive affirmations to flush out all the gunk and nastiness. That's how you should be treating yourself. That's how in a very simple way, that's how the water element works. You know, you don't just say something one time and it sticks. It's the repetition. Water, like is connected with the planet of the moon, has the power of reproduction. Now, the water element gets more in depth with this power of reproduction because the water element is connected with the 3 zodiacal signs that represent water, which are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And they each tell different stories, where Cancer tells more of the nurturing aspects, the container aspect of water. Cancer represents the home and the mother, helping with growth and putting things in a space where it can flourish. Scorpio represents the parts of water that you keep on exploring. It's like the stream of river that keeps on flowing and flowing, or the person who dives, you're diving deeper and deeper. That's what the Scorpio energy, more or less. But Scorpio is also connected with creation and destruction, having a container that can properly reproduce and create life. You know, if you have a fish tank and is completely mucky and dirty, eventually your fish are going to die. But if you have it clean and it's fresh, your fish will mate, reproduce, and it creates an environment for positive growth. Then you have Pisces, which is the deep, dark underwater. That is the mystical, hidden. This is that darkness in the ocean that we can't see at all. Pisces also represents the mystic, the one who is just in full surrender, doesn't know but trusts. This is where that aspect of the water comes into. Now, the element of water is also represented in the tarot cards by the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man, depending on which tarot deck you look at, will be hanging from a tree. On the Rider's Waite version, you will see that he'll be hanging from a tree that's shaped like a T. In the Paul Foster Case, or BOTA, Builders of the Datum version of the tarot, this one central figure is hanging from what looks like a log up top and then 2 trees on the side, which shaped like the Hebrew letter Tav. Now, the Hebrew letter Tav in the Western mystery sense is connected to the planet Saturn, which is a grounded and very stable energy. The hangman hanging from this tree tells us the connection of how the water element and the earth element need each other. The water element needs the earth element, that stable sense, to have a grounding, because when you have an influx of psychic energy coming in, you need to be grounded. I always recommend for people that if you feel that you're getting bombarded with psychic energies, one, shielding, visualizations of creating a shield are one way to protect yourself. But if you're like, I don't know how to shield, I'm not really good at visualizing and imagining, the next best thing, and actually is probably more effective and faster, is walking around barefoot in nature. And you don't have to go all the way out to the woods. You literally can just go to your backyard in the grass, take off your shoes and socks, put your feet in the grass, and have them sit there for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you know? If you do that day to day, it will help re-level the energies. The magnetic gravitational energy of the earth helps absorb all the excess energy in you. And it really just regulates you and gets you back to normal. You also see this relationship in the zodiac because on the opposite side of each water sign is an earth sign: Cancer, Capricorn, Scorpio, Taurus, Pisces, Virgo, where you have the mystical, flowy water sense of a structured spiritual sense in water. You have the more physical and grounded structure and substance of the earth element. Now, these oppositions, when they come together in the middle, that's balance. What I want you to do, I want you to look at your astrological chart. And I want you to take a look. Hey, do I have a lot of water? Do I have a lot of earth? Kind of see where things are. If you see that you have a lot of water element, I highly recommend working on, 1, make sure your self-talk is good, and 2, get grounded. If you don't have a lot of water element, still, you can still do that same work too. But now I want you to also learn about your emotions. Connect with your emotions. Feel them. Don't repress them. We've grown up in an age of where men don't cry. Well, men cry. Women feel. We all feel. It's not a gender thing. It's all of us. It's a human thing. Trust your emotions. Learn them. Connect with them. Nurture them. Help them reproduce into more healthy ways. And trust them when you feel them. Happy that you guys all could join me today. So next time, let's ascend together.